either as an individual or as a family or as a group. Today we are here gathered for such an assessment. And like we all know here in Delta State, this type of gathering has always been a continuous thing. It has been part of us. The once in a while gather, sit down, listen to the governor, and the governor listen to the people. But today the responsibility for this assignment is resting on the shoulders of a young man, very vibrant young man, who some 23, 25 years ago, we stand in the midst of people in a gathering like this and can hold the whole hall spellbound for an hour talking without pausing. He has the characteristics of raising his left hands as he keeps talking, and he will never stop until the hall will say we have heard enough. But we're never bored of him. That young man today, by the grace of God, after being a deputy governor, is today the man who has the responsibility to manage the information machinery of this nation called Nigeria. I'm talking of no other person than my brother, my friend, fellow comrade activist, Labaran Mako, Minister for Information. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to bore you with my own talk. My responsibility here is to introduce our guest to you and to say welcome to this gathering. But before I sit down, permit me, Your Excellency, Comrade Minister, to tell you that here today you have a cross-section of Deltans from all walks of life, professionals, representatives of the Market Women Association, even the artisans, the Medical Association, the Bar Association. Of course, you can see representatives of our traditional society, the traditional rulers, and some politicians as well, because there is no doubt that this is a political government. So there's no way we can gather without one or two politicians being here. But like you told us during the courtesy call, this is a people's program. So the people are here gathered today to listen to you. I want to say you are all welcome. This is Stakeholders Forum. For us to listen to the Committee on Good Governance from Abuja. They have been in this state for the past 3 days. They've tried to traverse the state, but like we all know, Delta State is too large a state for anybody to traverse in a hurry. I'm very sure that they could not go half of the states before they got tired. But I hear, and in listening to you today, they will have the benefit of hearing some of those things which they could not see physically for the past 2 days. It's on that note that I want to say we are all welcome to this program, and let us take what the man who spoke before I came in very seriously. This is a program for us to talk. Democracy is dynamic, society is dynamic, but it's not meant to castigate people. We must mind our language, we must mind how we phrase our terms as we come out to speak. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
This is the Executive Governor of Delta State, the Honorable Minister of Information, respected members of the High Table, Your Excellency, may I respectively observe and acknowledge all the existing protocol that has already been established. By this forum, Your Excellency, we are gradually concluding the inspection tour of Delta State, I want to believe. And I know that so far we have visited about 4 states in the South-South. We are able to visit all states in the North Central and the Southeast. And I remember vividly that when we are about to commence the South-South tour, I made a pronouncement that there is a lot of expectation. People tend to believe that we are coming to the South-South and And the expectation is that there should be more and more and more projects than what we are expected to see in other parts of the country. Probably this is because of one, the 13% derivation and other resources which this part of the country is privileged to be benefiting. However, I think without taking into cognizance the terrain and the difficulties which the various communities in this part of the country are experiencing. Therefore, Your Excellency, I want to believe that this is one aspect which we are able to discover in the course of our tour of the South-South. And I want to believe that we really appreciate these difficulties people, our brothers and sisters in this part of the country are really experiencing. So, Your Excellency, as usual, we saw quite a number of laudable, viable projects that you are able to initiate since when you are elected at the three-tier of governments, local governments, state and federal. We saw the new government house with beautiful architectural design and state-of-the-art facilities. We saw your effort to enhance transportation by purchasing modern speedboats, the commercial buses, as well as construction of an international airport. I call it international airport because, to the best of my knowledge, I think that airport is the best in Nigeria. And by virtue of my position as president of WAJA, I have the privilege of going and visiting all the 16 West African countries. And I want to confess that that airport is also the best in West Africa. And I think it is one airport that can be compared with any other airport in terms of structure and facilities in the world. In education, we saw Your Excellency laying foundation to achieve quality education by erecting standard structures, employing highly qualified personnel and teachers, providing instructional materials, as well as conducive environment that will enhance teaching learning. In fact, this is not only limited to primary, we saw it in primary and secondary school. And I think it is worthwhile to also commend His Excellency in this aspect. We saw your water scheme projects, the maternal child care, the mobile clinic, Delta State University Teaching Hospital, road construction and rehabilitation, dualization and bridges, and many more other projects, to mention but a few. Your Excellency, the good news here is that you are able to patronize indigenous contractors to achieve some of these projects. I refuse to use the word local because if any of our indigenous farms can erect such structure we saw in government house and airport, I think we should call them international contractors or farms. We also observe that, Your Excellency, the cost and evaluation of your projects has not been very, very high, because I remember we saw similar concepts and similar projects in some of the states where they are talking about billions of naira Here you are talking about the hundreds of naira, 100 millions of naira. So I think this is a clear indication that Your Excellency is very, very prudent in the management of resources of the state. Therefore, I want to believe that you have not disappointed the people of this state. You have initiated programs and policies that will impact positively on the lives of the people. These are real people-oriented programs, I believe. And I want to commend you most sincerely on that. For the federal government, Your Excellency, we also saw quite a number of encouraging projects. We saw the NGGTour railway projects in Olari, Federal University of Petroleum at Sapele power treatment plant that is now 100% completed. These are all viable, remarkable projects that will add values to the lives of the people of Delta and of course Nigerians by extension. So I think it is also worthwhile to commend Mr. President for initiating these very important projects. However, Your Excellency, I think it is pertinent for me at this juncture to make some very, very few observations. One, there is urgent need for the Niger Delta governments, that is the southern states and various communities, to intervene in putting standard structures at the Federal University of Petroleum. We saw similar intervention by various communities. For instance, in your neighboring Bayelsa state, we saw effort by various communities to ensure that they put in structure in that university. So I think there is need for us to also consider that, because it is obvious that most of the facilities we saw in this university are substandard, and there is slow pace in terms of development of this university. So we felt that there should be synergy between state government, federal and various community, so that the university can be to standard. Secondly, Your Excellency, there is also need for management of various power companies to look and review the issue of power distribution, so that most of the communities that are accommodating such power plants will benefit, will be advantage position. Because we observed in Sapele, for instance, that the power treatment plant has been completed. It is there, but the power is not stable. We are made to understand that there are about 3 power treatment plants here. So I think the problem is with the distribution. So if various power companies can look into this, at least it will solve the problem of power. It will be very, very stable here. And thirdly, though I'm not a professional in this aspect, but I want to believe that because of what we saw in that airport, and we are made to understand that it has not been given license, so I would like to use this forum to call on the Nigerian Airport Authority or whoever is responsible to consider immediate issuing of license to this international airport. So in all, Your Excellency, let me once more commend you and Mr. President for all you are doing to ensure that the people of this country benefit from this democracy. For us, we'll continue to encourage you by reporting different stages of development in this democracy. And I want to assure you that as we move out of Delta State, we'll continue to remember and indeed to report and analyze objectively all what we saw here in Delta State. And then lastly, Your Excellency, I want to thank you most sincerely for being the first governor to approve and start implementation of the minimum wage here in Delta State. My only appeal here, Your Excellency, is that we have gotten approval for the weigh-in allowances for our colleagues in the media industry and NGGTour. So I would like to use this opportunity to appeal to Your Excellency to be kind enough and start implementation of the weighing allowances for our colleagues in the media industry. With these few remarks, I want to thank you most sincerely. I want to thank the Honorable Minister for giving us this opportunity to discharge our social responsibility as expected by the people and as enshrined by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
In a town hall meeting, I stand on protocol by starting with the fact that I'm overwhelmed. I don't know if that is the cloth that is too bright, but I've seen this state from the days of Oshulo, when the government house was by the express, up to now. So when you know how a state has gone, and you know that there is progress, it will not be bad to say that so much has happened in Delta State. I've not been around, I've been in Lagos, I've been everywhere. I've followed the Honorable Minister, who I call a professor, who were in Jos together. And there were states that we went to where you had to be searching for programs and things that have been done. But I can tell you that I didn't wake up early today. I'm tired because we went everywhere and I'm not coughing. I went everywhere. You are not searching for projects in Delta. They are everywhere. The other thing I want to say is the walls of Berlin are falling in our democracy. And the minister is always saying that everywhere. It is good to criticize. I'm a comrade, I'm a general secretary of a union, and I started with Adams when he was president of the NLC. I do know that comrades are very critical, but I find it very difficult in Delta. I'm overwhelmed. I also know that there are people in this hall who believe that a lot more can be done. And of course it will be done. We are dealing with a doctor, a medical doctor. I'm sure that there are many of us here who want our children to become medical doctors. And therefore, in Delta, you are not searching for professionals. There are too many professionals everywhere. And therefore, you are talking about developing human resource. And I think we have too much of that. And you need good people to manage here. I don't say this because I want any favors. I think that when people are performing, you should do everything to encourage them. I therefore say that for those of us in the media, I joined the NGGTour president in saying that the Delta Beyond Oil program should take care of the media. You see, we have given so much to Nigeria. You see the funny people from Warri. All over when you are traveling from one place to the other, you are laughing inside the buses. That can only come from Delta. I thought you could clap for yourselves. Delta has talented people. And the best thing that I like about him, the governor, is that he doesn't make noise. He's just quiet, and I'm surprised that you can see all of this. I also say this because he's not going to contest again. Is that not true, sir? So I'm not saying this because he has another term and all of that. This man has done well. I think we should be able to say that. But we should encourage him to do those that he has not done. And that is what my president has sent me to do. I'm just a messenger, and therefore a message does not kill the messenger. Thank you very much. I think that he's done well. The combination between him and his deputy, we've not had people fighting in government houses like we used to see those days in Lagos. When I was in Lagos, a crying deputy. That is not what is happening here. I would say that we should create jobs for our youths. And I said it's not only in Delta. I I say this everywhere in Nigeria because the youths have energy. I used to be a youth, and today I don't have too much energy. But these ones have so much energy. You can use their energy more. Comrade Governor, I call him a comrade. I know what he's done for labor in this state. I know what he's done for some of us as individuals. I therefore say that we should encourage him. I will say that digitalization is the way the world is going. And in health, in education, in the development of roads, everything that I've seen in Delta tells me that you have an intelligent person who will take the media forward through digitalization. I want to thank you very much, Comrade Governor. What you have done, continue to do. Mine is not a vote of thanks. If it were a vote of thanks, I would say that I should have said there are only two ways to say a thank you. Thank you or thank you very much. Continue to do what you are doing and stay on the ball. I also want to say that there should be emphasis on sports, and it's fitting that the coach of the Eagles is from Delta, and that is worth nothing. So when you talk of human beings, we have more than enough here. And therefore, please encourage everybody to do what is right. But I want to end by saying that what is governance? When I was in the NCA Benin, my manager told me, why would people tell you that you have produced a good program? What were you recruited to do? To produce bad programs, and therefore it is good that the governor is performing, and we should put our hands together for him. I think that Delta will be greater, but Delta has come of age at 21. I want to thank you very much. I wish you well on behalf of my president of Rocktown. God bless you. Thank you very much, and let Delta go.
Women are glad with it. In the first place, greetings from my president, National Council of Women Societies, Nigeria, and greetings from all the women of Nigeria. My brothers and sisters, I must say I'm very glad to be here. We've been here for the last 3 days. Our eyes are fed and we are filled. I must thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has been so gender sensitive. At least he has given the women a sense of belonging. So we are very, very appreciative of his administration, and we support his transformation agenda. I also must appreciate the wife of the president, who has taken women to the mainstream of politics in Nigeria. In fact, we are very proud of her. We are proud of that family. We've seen women have been given opportunity to serve at the federal level, and that has been going on in various states too. And I know Delta State is one of those states that have taken women into consideration. And I'm meant to understand, my governor, that the local government is on the way. I will appeal that when it is time, please give women an opportunity to serve in local government capacity.
Women for change.
Oh yeah. Nigerian women, oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Una see, una governor do well. He has a number of projects in Delta State, and I must say we are very happy. Especially, I'm very glad to see what I have seen. That's why I said my eyes are filled. We've seen so much, and the most interesting part of it is the medical sector. And probably because the governor of this state is a medical doctor, he has given so much attention to the medical sector. We saw the mobile hospital, and it's located in various communities, not only in one particular place. We saw operation was going on, and we saw the number of people that were there. It's quite amazing. The governor has also taken a very high premium on education. It's very fantastic, it's wonderful. Not just a free and compulsory education, but a qualitative education. So, Governor, you've done so well, and I know the women are very proud of you. Amazingly also is what I've seen today, just some few minutes ago. We've seen the massive microcredit program that is going on in Delta. Is fantastic. So I really recommend the governor for this wonderful show of love. At least quite a number of our youths are being taken care of. I appreciate the commissioner who has also done a very beautiful job. It's very, very tremendous. We are grateful, sir. And another thing I've taken to cognizance is the system that you people are running your free and medical treatments. You know, from pregnancy to delivery, from delivery 0 to 5 years, it's wonderful. And then from that 5 years is given a free medical treatment. Then you take it up to free and education from primary. Like I keep telling my team, the Honorable Minister and his team, that when you visit Akwa Ibom, you will see more than what you can see. In fact, you won't even finish going around in 10 days. So I really, really appreciate the governor for what he has done. Our governor is his brother, and that is why both of them are performing. So in all, I would want to say that the governor has pandered in all parts of the states. He has pandered in all parts of the states. He has distributed the wealth and development evenly. He's not jam-packed in one place. It is all over the states. It's all over the 3 senatorial districts, and the women, the men, and everybody can attest to that. Of all the places we've been going, I've been asking, and they'll be telling me a lot of what the governor has done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Minister for Information, Mr. Labram Maku. All protocols observed. May I start by thanking the Honorable Minister for Information for coming with an idea such as this, which is in keeping pace with the tradition, that is our own tradition of struggle, the tradition of ensuring that there is a government that is all-inclusive, the idea of people's participation in governance, inclusiveness in government, and good governance, so to say. I thank Mr. Labram Maku for the fact that we were together, if I may use that word, in the trenches during the over 10 years, over 15 years of military rule. First as students, as later as activists. We traverse all the states and cities of Nigeria in our effort to ensure that we get good governance in Nigeria, in fighting military, in ensuring that there is good governance. And after that, when we have this our so-called democracy, and the likes of Labran happens to find themselves in government, great Nigerian people. I'm saying this because there is the need to, set this record straight. There are insinuations there were innuendos as to what is happening with this good governance law. And I'm saying, considering what we have done and what we have done for this country, considering our dreams and our hope for our country, the idea of having people coming together, interrogate, to interface with with the leaders, the people we elected, is something that should be encouraged. People from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, need to come and engage this democracy we are talking about. Not just we allow our elected representatives to sit in the cozy of their own offices and dish out what they want to dish out. Here we are here gathered, and we want people on their own to stand up and challenge the executive governor of Delta State, or whoever it is, that there is this project you have abandoned, there is this project you have not done. That is what democracy is all about. And we are saying that in ensuring that we get that done, we should commend the effort of the Honorable Minister, because for those of us who have his own background, it was never done in this country. For whatever it takes, we should commend this process and ensure that we engage it. So I'm surprised to hear from other people who, if I may call, latter-day Democrats, are now coming to criticize this effort. I have been on this team since the 10th of this month, and nobody gave me a dime, apart from my own entitlement that I'm supposed to get. That is my own DST. Nobody gave me a dime. And people were going on there in all sorts of places saying that people are going to places to collect money. We are going to where we are going to, and we'll pass our own independent judgment. And I said before you here now, nobody in the midst of, from among the Tour team has influenced anybody to either say what he did not see or to say what is not true. So I'm saying it is wrong for people in position of authority to be making insinuations capable of, giving a bad impression of people. That aside, Mr. Governor, sir, I was with this team. I am part of this team. We've been to so many places. And here we are in your states. I had the privilege of also seeing you not long ago. You may not recall. But I observed that in Delta State, there are a lot of ongoing projects. And I'm worried because these projects have been there for long. And there are needs for these projects to be completed on a rather good time. And I think the government should look into that. Secondly, I also observed that in virtually most of these oil producing states that were visited, people talk about 13% derivation, people talk about so many other things, but you don't see linkages between the investment and the projected commercial values these things are going to generate. I have observed this. It's only investment, but there are no standard planning of what the government needs to derive from that. Thirdly, I have also observed that there is a very good synergy which needs to be improved in the power sector within your state. Lucky enough, on our tour yesterday, we were with your Commissioner for Energy. And judging from what he has told us, in terms of support you have given to the PHCN, I think you should be commended. I must also say this, that of all the NPP sites we've been to, the most impressive one is that of Sapele here in Delta State. We saw that. I can attest to that. And then, but I think that in the area of road construction and rehabilitation, the state government needs to stand up and ensure that there are good route linkages within Delta and some other states. Finally, before I also rest my case, is the question of, no, don't worry, I'm coming to the issues you want me to raise. Is the issue of gender balance and what I said, this thing about participation. You see, Mr. Governor, sir, if you open up the process of governance, if you have people to own up to projects you are doing, if you get them involved in these processes, be they organizations, community associations, they will own up to the project and ensure the success of your own projects. So I think, and I observe that this thing, there is this gap. If you can have a process in place that can either at the community or local government level, create certain structures that will give people enough room to participate. That will expand so-called the democracy we all have been yearning for, and that will guarantee good governance. I rest my case. Thank you very much.
For time. Your Excellency, I just want to join others in commending you for continuity, because I've been told that I've been told that a few projects that were started by your predecessor you were able to complete, like the naval logistics company, because the major challenge we have is that most of the projects are abandoned to take on other projects, which could be very costly. Of the 3-point agenda too, I would like to dwell on the human capital development, because if you look around, initially when we looked at the executive team, we thought that the number of commissioners was unwieldy, considering the size of the state, almost competing with the national. But when we look at it critically, again, look at the commissioner of information. This is somebody I have known who is a strong development person. Look at somebody like Comrade Gloria Otuniko. Look at RMD and the many young brains that have been injected. You see that there is a value addition and there is a need for even to expand that. So it is a commendable thing. A lot of people were worried too that why should we have 2 commissioners in charge of education? We know too that the children had once told us, they sang when we were in a state, that education is a right. So given that, it means because of the challenges in that sector, it is important to get people who understand the issue to be able to drive that sector very well, because I understand the various challenges that we are faced. Your Excellency, we commend you too, especially the microcredit, the economic empowerment of women, because we know too that the empowerment of women, if it is done from the grassroots, is better. And we are particularly happy that it's a woman who is driving that process. So for all we see today, I think it's an area that we can give His Excellency 99.5%. Yes, because I believe for all of us who visited the exhibition stand, I'm sure either our hands were engaged or our mouths were engaged, not necessarily to stop us from talking, but this is the reality. The real empowerment of the grassroots people is very important. On the scholarship scheme, we are very pleased with that. Then on the farms, you know, the empowerment of women, mainstreaming gender into all development processes is very critical. We are told at the farm, the OFN and Delta farm, that majority of the distributors are females, which is very good. On social services, we realize that water, which has very gross gender implication, because if water is not located at the right time, it takes out of the empowerment of women, so we are grateful. Then let me look at the SAPADEC, because I've been told that the 13% derivation, that His Excellency has asked for 50% out of that 13%. Because we'll be crying for Commonwealth, sovereign wealth. So for that to be put in that place, it is commendable. However, I discovered too that of the 11 member committees that there is no single woman. Your Excellency, if you have women as the conscience of the people, you realize that issue of due process, proper utilization of the money, and budget performance, you will be able to achieve it. I'm not accusing the men, but when you have women, it will be better for us. Recently, when the international, Your Excellency, when Bachelet visited recently the UN Executive Director, she said for any developmental plan to succeed, it means you have to upgrade what you are doing now for gender development to 50-50. Your Excellency, in contract in supplies, the huge projects we see, we are not able to see if there are female contractors, because this is an area that women to have some capacity. So we'd like to see where you empower women. Then, Your Excellency, on market shuttles, please, I still want to plead that for so many reasons, there is a need to get
Please, let us listen to her.
There's a need to get special transport for the market women. For so many reasons, I had asked before, to avoid taxation, their goods being destroyed, since they know where the market is. You can direct vehicles to that place to reduce the profit. It will increase the profit gap for them. Your Excellency, I like to also observe that The TV stations, the media is a major concern for our organization.
Please, see women now. See what they do. See what the women they do. Women, oh yeah. You know, they struggle for a program. Please, just listen to her. She's talking on your behalf, so listen to her. Don't listen.
The radio stations will be very happy. The radio stations and the television stations, we want the situation where a lot of people will have access to radio and television, because I know that the issue of the wavelength is a little challenge. And when you establish that with the Commissioner of Information, please do it so that critical programs are aired when women have the time to sit, not when they need to attend to the men or to their children. Otherwise, we are going to miss information from women. Your Excellency, finally, I would like to plead, because we know that there are so many challenges within this area. That you try to assist us in trying to see how you can protect the rights of women, protect their rights from the violence against women, different kinds of violence. You know it more than we do, so that it will be easier for the women to actualize their potentials, and you'll be able to harvest this. So, Your Excellency, by the time we come, before you leave office, we'll be grateful if you'll be able to actualize the 50% gender affirmative action. Thank you very much.
Wado, Anwao. You know, before we came to Delta State, some of my friends said, "Boy, what are they going for again?" So we go see what they do now. Then he just said to me, "Well, when I go see road, when I go see plenty things we don't do. But one thing that we hear, those of us that have not been there, is poverty alleviation. One thing that we hear is microcredit facilities. One thing that we see is that they have their transport on the streets and on the roads. It was not me that was saying so. Then I recall that in the 60s, when we were coming to Delta Province,
sorry, please stop sharing the program.
Put the programs down, listen. Put the programs down and listen. Okay, sit down. Now, he said, I was saying in the end, when would they take Pontu cross to this side from Sapele? Sapele was very beautiful. Yes, Asaba was great. Now, when would they enter Asaba? In fact, it'd be like saying they enter New York in America. The only thing where my friend tell me, make I tell you, might be say, make we let Sapele be like that too. When we were driving around Warri, we had to be going through some creeks. Let me use the word creeks, to reach the points this team was reaching. The beauty that Douala has done in Asaba, let it reach Warri. He has performed beautifully in many, many areas. My colleagues have said them. I don't need to repeat them. Others have commented about what others are saying about this tour. But me, I'm not going to talk about that one, because the minister there will go talk about that one. But one thing that I want to tell the government and people of Delta State, we say, there are governments that are involved in development to show, to let the media say they are doing well, to put up structures to say, yes, we are doing beautiful. But if you do and
and what you are doing does not affect the people, you are not doing anything. We have found that in Delta, well, that's my conclusion, that Delta is only one of the states, one of the very few states in the country whose policies and programs are geared towards people. This is the area I will beg the governor to emphasize. Because why are you there? You are there to light candle. You are there to ensure that the people, when you leave, the people will have something to say, this is what our governor has done. Yes, roads, yes, light, but water is important. Agric, you are doing something good, but you can do more. Because Delta State is rich. Some of us will come from other states with the envy now. True, with the envy now. But this money, make we dey see am for people's lives. You are doing beautiful. And one glory that you have is that you have people who have vision. If nothing else, one thing that I'm taking away is that Delta is planning for development outside of oil. Because we don't know when this oil will dry. We don't know. We also do not know when this revenue go the high. What do we fall back to? And that is what Duaga is doing. And I am sure that other states of the Federation are looking at what it's doing. I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We thank Mr. George Duaga, members of Delta State Executive Council, distinguished elders, sons and daughters of Delta State. Before I say anything, I'm a teacher. I will want everyone, with the exception of the governor, to stand up and shake up the next person to him or her. I'm a teacher. I beg. Just greet. Just greet again and again. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. We can all be seated now. We can all be seated now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We can all be seated back now. Well, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me, on behalf of the National Good Governance Team, commend the members of this team for the tough work that we have gone through in the last 2 weeks. We've never had rest for a single day. We've never had Sunday or Monday or anything. We have worked every day from morning to night. Yesterday we returned here from Saple around 10:30 in the night. And even the program you wanted to host us had to be shifted because we were not available. This is one of the toughest things I've done in life. Going through the nook and crannies of this country on a daily basis, from morning to night, visiting communities, visiting projects, visiting programs, discussing with people. It's really very, very tough. Some of the team members have been breaking down because we know how tough it could be. So, Your Excellency, we are not on this tough road for self-aggrandizement. I have absolutely no reason to subject myself to this stress
if it is simply for vaingloriness. The import of the good governance tour, if I may repeat, sir, is because as a Democrat, I believe that democracy can never work properly if it is not engaging people. And I've been Minister of Information for 3 years. Everybody will come with his own innovation and his own ideas. And that is the way society can move forward. I am not Minister of Information of federal government. I am Minister of Information of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My duty is to sell my country. My duty is to tell people what is good. My duty is to discuss challenges. That is why I am Minister of Information. And I do not believe that as Minister of Information, my job is to sit in Abuja and issue press statements. Government has done that. Government is doing this. Government is about to do that. No. My duty, as I made the pronouncement when I was doing the ministerial platform, which for the first time brought ministers in this country to interface with people and to explain their programs and to explain what they will be doing. In the course of the ministerial platform, I announced that in addition to it, we will be going out to verify the progress on these projects my colleagues and I say we are doing for Nigeria. We made an announcement and we followed it up because I believe in saying and fulfilling it. So the National Good Governance Tour is a continuation to ensure that we do not just pronounce that federal government is awarding contracts, we are giving jobs, but that we go out and show and see the progress. And I don't believe that a Minister of Information will just be sitting down in Abuja. No. My duty, I believe, is to discuss, to engage, to talk to communities, to discuss the program that we are doing across the country. Now, when we design this program, I also believe it would not be good for me to go to states and just say, okay, this is what the federal government is doing, and I move to another place. Government in a nation like this is integrated. What government does at the federal level, at the state level, and local government level is all interconnected to serve people. So I believe that I needed to speak with other levels of government so that we can agree together what do we do to discuss the progress we are making and the challenges, frankly. And that was why after we designed this program, Your Excellency, along with my colleague, Minister of National Planning, and with your son, Professor Moyi, who is the special advisor to the President on Performance Monitoring, we decided to table it at the Federal Executive Council. And the President approved. Having approved it, he also accepted there is a need for the whole country to go with this program. And we took it to the governors, all of them, the National Economic Council. I tabled the program, my colleague, Minister of National Planning, we discussed thoroughly, and all the 36 governors without exception accepted that we should do this program together. Not only did they accept, the Nigerian Governance Forum set up a special committee chaired by the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Several governors included from all the political parties were part of it. We now discussed the program and they said we should make changes. We all made the changes that our governors demanded. We made the changes. For example, one of the changes, in the original conception, we were thinking maybe at the end of this tour, we could begin to look at performances. But my colleagues, the governors accepted, no, we needed a tour that would be peer review without grading and giving people awards. And accepted that. I mean, I've been in government since 1999. I'm not starting today. And we agreed on the template and what we must do. And when we agreed, different levels of government accepted their own responsibilities. We agreed what support will be with the state government's offer, what support will the federal government offer. We all agreed in this meeting. And since we started this program, this is the 14th state that we are visiting. We are visiting every APGA state, NCP, CPC state. You know, we have visited all the states. And we say we will not be partisan. We will not be politicized. We will insist on seeing the things we see and coming to judgment transparently. And it's not difficult for me because I've been a journalist, I've been a reporter, and I know what it is for journalism to account. So this program, for the first time, is discussing our country frankly with citizens. The innovation we have brought on board is this forum we are discussing now, which offers the opportunity for the first time for people in the states, for example, projects. And in every place we have gone, some of the toughest questions came directly to me on behalf of the federal government, which have provided answers the best I can. Some other ones go to governors. When we were in Boeing State, Governor Lechi, who is in his 70s, a young boy stood up in the hall during the National Good Governance Tour and said, Mr. Governor, you say you are doing water supply. You have seen the big plant that you are building. Why are you delaying the pipes? You have to hurry up. We can't keep waiting for you to take water. He almost lost his school. And in spite of his maturity, which was very short, very demonstrable from all the things we saw in the Boeing State, he stood up and said, young man, yes sir, thank you very much. I will hurry. I will hurry and I will lay the pipe. Now, it is only in the Nigerian democratic enterprise that this is happening. In many other countries in Africa and around the world, you dare not to stand up and criticize your government or your president. Some end up in jail. Some end up in jail. But in Nigeria, the president approved that, look, let us open ourselves for discussion. Because since this democracy started, there are all sorts of arguments. Government is doing nothing. Everybody is doing nothing. Because democracy is about argument and elections, people forget that there is election period, there is development period, there is war period. This period we are in Nigeria is for all of us to show our work for the people of this country. And this program offers the best template I've seen in decades to discuss frankly what state governments are doing, what local governments are doing, what federal government is doing. But I've gone through 14 states. None of the governors who have visited will tell you that I, Labaran Maku, or anybody in my ministry wrote him to bring money to us. We've had all sorts of stories. I have decided not to comment because I don't want our attention to be distracted. I have seen a lot of comments. I want to keep politics aside. No good program will go without criticism. And I'm a Democrat. I'm prepared to take all the criticism, all the attacks, but I will continue to persevere until this democracy improves and answers the needs of people of Nigeria. Now, Your Excellency, we are here in your state. I have been in Delta. I've been passing through this place for the past 26 years. When I did my NYC in Benin, I was always driving through Asaba to go to Benin. And since that period, I've been here. When after my NYC, I became a journalist. I was here when Delta State was created. In 1991, we were here. We also visited this place along with the former military president. And I've continued to monitor the progress of this state since that time. Let me say that one evidence that I saw on returning to Delta is that the first evidence you know that this state has worked is that Asaba is not the same place we used to pass that time. It's not the same place. Asaba has changed. That is what democracy is all about. But in doing so, it is fair to acknowledge that some progress is made while challenges remain. Because those challenges will continue to remain. No group of leaders will address all the problems of their country. If any group of leaders will solve all the problems, then that country has ended in history. The future, yes, the future is different from now. Maybe the new houses we are building, our children will not want to live in them. They want to break them and build another one. Technology has changed, needs have changed. So challenges will remain in every country. When I went to the United States in October last year, and I saw people discussing America, you will not think that it's the first world that we celebrate here. People say, no, they are going down and so on. But this is America. People are still saying they are not doing well enough. They should go faster, not to talk of a developing country like Nigeria. So we have challenges. But let us admit that there is work going on. We can disagree on the pace of that work. We can disagree on how fast that work will move. We can disagree on priorities and emphasis, but we cannot say they were not working. It doesn't make sense. We must agree that some work is going on. And in this democracy and touring this country, Your Excellency, you are the 14th state. I have seen evidence of work in Delta. And I'm going to give it, I don't want to repeat what the members of the team have discussed. But I have seen that, for a government to work, there must be a system in place. There must be a vision where you want to go. Now, when you come to Delta, you look at transportation, you look at education, you look tourism, you look at agriculture, you will know that there is a central core and a plan. There's a central core and a plan. And what the governor told us is looking at Delta beyond oil. Delta is oil producing now, but you know oil will finish, gas will finish. What will not finish are the human beings on this planet, so long as God tarries. So for that reason, what we must be developing is the human being. Like Clinton said, what is in the head is more precious than what is in the soil. And so, emphasis on human capital development, there is no dispute about it. We must, if we want to take our society to the next level, we must emphasize education. I have seen that emphasis in Delta. I went to a model primary school here at Asaba. If you can replicate that model primary school all over the state, which you have agreed and you are doing, what will happen in future is that your children will be more confident, because the environment determines the confidence of the child and the performance. So we want those model schools to be replicated, so that our children, as they step into school, they're in a new environment that is, in contact with their own brains to produce better results. I think investment in primary education for me is number one. Like I keep telling people, I used to be a primary school teacher and a headmaster. So I know that if whatever you're doing at the university, if you don't get primary school right, you're just wasting your time. You're just wasting your time. So, Your Excellency, I urge you to continue the investment in primary education. But also in secondary education, we went to St. Patrick's College at Asaba as a model place to envision what is being done, and I was told there are 14 of such structures that we are putting in place across the state. Now, St. Patrick is a mission school, which is now returned to the mission. But the government has gone there to build a very great structure to give the school a new environment, because they believe, as we all do know, that voluntary agencies are training our children. They don't have, they're doing what we ought to be doing as a government. Now, the structures also at St. Patrick, looking very, very good and comprehensive with facilities. That should be provided. The way to use your oil money now is to build more and more of those schools and give your people the edge in education. The difference between South Korea and us is that we have all the natural resources, they have nothing. But they have all the education that they can get in the world, and they are ahead of us. So for us to beat them, the investment is in education. Education, education, education. It can never be too much. It can never be too much. So we urge that the oil money we are getting a little now should be, make sure we train the next generation to be better than us, and they will take the development to the next level. So we have seen this evidence. We also went to the Delta State teaching hospital, university teaching hospital at, Ogara. Now at Ogara, there was something we saw which I think we should emphasize, is that the university is now bringing in modern equipment for diagnosis, and for medical treatment. Now, what we saw there is attracting the diaspora back. For example, we saw a professor, a surgeon, who said his specialty is in orthopedic surgery, and he replaces kneecaps and hips that are, problematic. Now, what he said was he has been doing this all over the world, but he has come home now because he has seen that there is now a commitment to renew the health infrastructure, and he believes there are many Nigerians out there that can come. Your Excellency, this is a good thing. Now, what Nigeria spends abroad every year, going to India, going to Britain, US, and other places, Delta State University can begin to take some of that money if you advertise the program that we are running there. Let them come here and take some of the money. That will work. Now, if you continue the pace that we saw in that teaching hospital in terms of equipment, in terms of training and the expertise, then gradually, like I tell people, you go abroad, you pay more money, the person who will treat you most of the time is in Nigeria. So it's not that anybody is better than us, but that we can indeed lead the world. And that is the point. State governments are key in providing the building blocks to lift up their own constituencies, working together with the federal government. So that's a very good project. Now, in agriculture, we saw a farm today, the OFM Delta Poultry Farm. I'm happy we went to the farm and we saw that we are producing 1,000 crates of eggs every day. 1,000 crates every day. And we went to the farm to verify. I mean, it's also being operated by Nigeria. There is no foreigner on the farm. All of them are Nigerian. That is my most important emphasis. So from the feed mix to everything on the farm are Nigerians. And we see a very good farm that is being expanded. Now that is where the jobs will come. If you do that and establish more farms in each senatorial district, doing something different and passing knowledge to local people, then gradually you will see that there will be a movement away from just thinking that oil is it all to agriculture, to intellectual property. That is the way that you will update the effort of your people. Now, we went to the leisure resort at somewhere after Obiaja, after Alaja, yesterday. Now, when we went to the leisure resort, we saw a new tourist haven in the making. They told us that there are several, about 25 companies that have signed in to be part of that leisure park, which, if developed, will make tourism, will make that place a destination. And they say you're also developing a wildlife park here, close to Asaba, around Ogwa. That's right, Ogwa Shiku. Now, if that is done, then you will see that people travel here to several cities in South Africa or Egypt. Now, I continue to say that Dubai is a desert. We live in a natural habitat where everything is available. We can replicate some of those things and take some of the tourists back to Nigeria. And tourism is not something that federal government alone can do. And I believe that that emphasis on tourism, on agriculture, on health is very, very important. Your transportation system is good. When I saw the boats, 130 boats that we are about to distribute to young people, I was very happy. First, it brings safety. The boats we saw are safer than the flying boats that we see everywhere in the Niger Delta area. Now, those boats are modern and they are fabricated here in Nigeria. That is my emphasis. The boats were not imported. They were brought in from your neighboring state of Port Harcourt. So that means that the money is returning to Nigeria, is integrated within the country. So, and you are a riverine area. You must emphasize river transportation. Now that the federal government has just completed the seaport in Onitsha, you can see how your boat will serve these entire communities right up to north central Nigeria. So I think those boats, as quickly as possible, should be distributed so that we'll begin to see them and apply them in some of our riverine areas. It's a very good program. We also saw a fleet of buses which will be going for road transportation, and the train drivers were interrogated yesterday. That again also is a very good program. So transportation, we are seeing an interconnected program, road transportation, river transportation, and air transportation with the airport. So that's the kind of integrated services that will give your state an edge. People must move fast for the economy to grow, move goods and services on a fast lane. So I think that program is also very, very good. So we have come to the city of Onitsha. We have seen new roads. We have seen the new government house. Asaba. We have come to Asaba. We have seen the new roads. We have seen the new government house. And I can say this, that at Wari, we also saw roads being constructed. We saw roads at Wari. We went to Agbo. We saw the road we are constructing through Agbo and other areas of the state. Now, my emphasis on these projects is that we must do everything possible to make sure that the contractors deliver. I have seen a lot of progress in these key areas. Now, the other area that we didn't see physically, which I want to speak on, is security. In the Wari Saple area, there are still challenges. because we speak with ordinary people and other Nigerians living in those areas. Your Excellency, you have done well in these areas are as quiet and calm, but the creeks and the riverine areas, and it's not only in your state, in Port Harcourt, in rivers, in Bayelsa, up to Delta, there are still challenges there. We have seen programs the state governments are doing individually to deal with insecurity. My suggestion is that the various governments of the South-South and even the Southeast should come together and create a security architecture, because the borders are very, very mixed. The people are also mixed. So what we need in the South-South and Southeast is a security work on it together and achieve serenity in the Niger Delta. And I want to call on the use of the Niger Delta. What you need most now to defeat poverty, to defeat unemployment, is to take advantage of the opportunities being put in place by the federal and state governments to allow due process to reign. There is much more gain in the normal life than in criminality. So I believe solving this problem in the Niger Delta is our #1 priority of our state governments. We wish you every luck, because we have seen that quietly you have worked to get things move on. The other challenge is environmental sanitation, and I mentioned that in virtually all the states of the South Side that I visited and some states in the Southeast. There is great job being done to clean the city, but there are still the speed to pack the refuse from where it is dumped to the dump site has to be improved. The most inspirational program we have seen is the microcredit, Your Excellency, because you can see I am not the chief. This was given to me by the market, by the women who are making them. They gave me this and I said, let me advertise it. It looks very beautiful. And they are making so many beautiful things. I've seen blind people making shoes, knitting bags. You know, we have seen the young man that is taking up his mother's business to produce spices which are being exported all over the world. You know, from your own microcredit program. We have seen the shoemakers, the physically challenged and others, whom you say you are not giving them further equipment to improve on leather making, to make those shoes viable beyond the Nigerian market. And we have seen a lot of products by women, by men and youths, the fish farmers, the young fish farmers, who are producing 5 tons of fish every month. So this is what is going to make the difference between poverty and riches. It will lift people from poverty, and it's available to the lowest number of people, level of people. We want you to encourage that program, and we're challenging the men to pay back, as the women are doing. We're told that women are the best in credit worthiness because they always pay back. Let me commend the women for what they are doing, and also the young men there. So, sir, the microcredit program should continuously be expanded to accommodate more people out there. Backed up with the training you are already offering people. That is the difference. The Asaba Airport has already been discussed. I don't want to go back to it. But my happiness with it is that it is built by Nigeria. My happiness with the government house is that it is built by a Nigerian. My happiness with your programs is that they are integrated backward to encourage economic development. Patronizing Nigerians is very crucial if we are going to grow. Like I said elsewhere, Delta State has produced a local coach that has beaten all foreign coaches to bring an of Delta. You are in the forefront in terms of skills, in terms of drive, in terms of competitiveness. You are a mixed society, and we're happy about that. Your Excellency, the last point I'll make before I cross over to the federal government is that Delta State, one moment, Delta State is multi-ethnic. Delta is multi-ethnic, and in the 90s, it was very, very hot. Now we have seen calm return. We're seeing inter-ethnic solidarity. We must keep going. Our tribes and tongues may differ, like our first national anthem say, but in brotherhood and sisterhood, we stand. So please become the rainbow that your state is, as a way of leading Nigeria forward. We thank you for that. Now, here, let me make it clear. All the things that the state governments are doing are very, very important. You are closer to the people. But the federal government has embarked on some massive transformation programs for the good of Nigeria. The president of this country, who is your son from South, is adding value to this country in the way he is doing his work and envisioning a new Nigeria. He's doing so in the most difficult phase of our history, where our patience has come down, where we don't discuss without insulting, where we now want to pull everything apart. He has been struggling and is succeeding in giving this country a direction. Now, the transformation program of Mr. President is to affect Delta State. Yesterday, we went to the only standard gauge railway line in the country, which has been completed between Itakwa Hills across Kogi State up to Warri, now up to a larger plant. Now, if you go to the standard rail line we saw yesterday, which was built by Julius Baja, it is very, very, very good work. And it is not the one transporting all the heavy-duty equipment from Warri up north. When we were doing the power plant in Kogi, the roads could not withstand the heavy-duty turbines that we brought into the country. We had to use that rail line. So what the federal government has done is to give us a standard gauge rail line which is completed. The second one is being built between Abuja and Kaduna. The third one is being built between Lagos and Ibadan. They are mobilizing to site now. The one from Ibadan to Lagos is double track, and it is going to be commercial. We are designing the one from Ibadan through Oshogbo, through up to Abuja, and there is a south-south line that will take off through this place, passing Benin to Warri, up to Calabar, and another one will tip off from Benin through Asaba, up to Onitsha and the southeast. We have given consultancy services for these rail lines. They are being developed right now, and the federal government is also sourcing investors to work on PPP programs to deliver on a new rail transportation for Nigeria. At the moment, Your Excellency, we have finished the rail line from Lagos to Kano, which is now carrying passengers and goods between southwest and south and northwest. We are now working on Port Harcourt-Maiduguri line, which will be completed by the end of December. So the existing rail line, as we used to know it, will come into full operation by 2014 in Nigeria, which is a great relief on our roads, which is what the president has been doing. Now, when you come to river transportation, the Niger has been dragged. You can see evidence here in Onitsha. The port is delivered. We are now looking for private sector people to take over the port. Now, for people of Onitsha and Asaba and Delta State, you have an international airport, you have a seaport. Who can beat you? Unless you don't stand up. You are already on it. So please work hard and build your future on the basis of this infrastructure Mr. President is laying for us. Now, the power supply thing is the major challenge Mr. President is facing. We are building 10 new power plants. The one in your state is completed. We went to Saple, we saw it. It is giving us 542 megawatts of electricity. 2 units are working perfectly. The third unit is undergoing regular maintenance, and another one that had a problem, we were told by March it will be completely fixed. So from April, Saple will give us 542 megawatts of electricity, which is big. And I want to thank the governor because you are now networking transmission so that your people can benefit. We saw the transformers today, which you showed us. And we are also building a substation close to Asaba, which will stabilize power in this city, permanently. So by the time we finish the repair works at Saple, and we are getting there, and your governor continues to distribute the transformers to ease transmission, I believe that by the end of this year, most of Delta State will have higher and more stable electricity supply. So this is the kind of job that Mr. President is doing. Now, we believe that in education, Mr. President being a teacher, we have set up several schools. We went to University of Petroleum Resources, a forum, the only type in Africa. Now, the problem of that university university is not lack of money. The problem has been that we have had a big problem with the management of the university. The federal government set up a committee that looked into it, and the white paper is being expected. When we went there yesterday, for example, we saw that since 2008, they have not been able to access their third funds. And in all universities you go today, polytechnics, teachers' colleges, it is third fund that is driving infrastructure. Their own money has been tied down because they had a management problem. So we challenge the interim administration of that university to work harder and ensure that they access their funds. They said they have been given a certificate of clearance. So by next year when you go there, you will see more structures coming out of the University of Petroleum Resources at a forum. The federal government set that institution up to give Nigeria first-class experts in oil and gas, and it is going to deliver. So education, we are also distributing books to all primary schools in Nigeria, all public primary schools. The president has asked the universal-based education. We have finished textbooks in mathematics, social studies, basic science. All of them are being distributed free. So every state ministry of education is supposed to collect the ones for their states. And I believe that Delta State must be participating in this program. Finally, let me appeal to you. Our country is going through a phase. And that phase is that our democracy, which is young, 13 years, is energizing itself for service delivery. But as citizens, this democracy is not just what the president does. It's not what the governors do. It is important that leaders will drive the process. But the people of Nigeria must believe in this country and in ourselves. And we must give this nation the peace that is required for development to take place. And we must ask our leaders to network together to allow systems to work. And that is my gladness. Your governor has been working very, very well, with the federal government. And we like this because the synergy will improve what he's doing at home for your own people. This is very, very important for the development of Delta State. If Delta goes forward, Nigeria goes forward. It's not as if a state goes forward, other people should be worried. No. States that are working well will learn from them and improve on what they are doing. So let us work. It's a beautiful country. As we go around, we're seeing the beauty. We're seeing the effort. Seeing a striving people trying to transform an economy that will lead the world and we will lead Africa in the next decade. So we thank you for what you have done in Delta for yourselves. The only regret, we didn't see local government projects. We were not able to see local government projects. And local governments are very crucial. They are a third tier of government. And I know they must be doing well. We didn't have the opportunity. We will be glad. We will be glad if they explain, at least to us, the efforts in that area. For Delta youths, the federal government through SHOW program is giving 10,000 jobs to every state every year for 3 years. 10,000 jobs. Already, all the committees state by state have been set up. So you better interface and know what is happening. 10,000 jobs per state, what means that in Delta State alone, the federal government will be offering 30,000 jobs in the next 3 years, which is direct job, SHOW program. Then the WIN program is also going on. Interfacing with your microcredit, the use of this state can rise up and be counted. Thank you, people of Delta. We wish you well and God bless you.